2 games to go. We talked before the match, Jermaine, about his psychological powers. Have we seen that at work there? So there wasn't too much wrong with what Spurs did, but there was a lot wrong with everything else in the evening, including the officials.
Yeah, of course you have to protect your players.
Is that something that you've had to learn as well as a manager?
I think you have to. We spoke before about the psychology of football. Young players, and you spoke about Tel. I'm going to kiss him and hug him. Players will watch these interviews. All of a sudden, for a young player, how does that make you feel? When you felt like you've let the team down, when actually you haven't, because like you said, young players make mistakes. But he's a top player. We're going to need him. He's a top manager. He spoke about having good characters in the change rooms, good people. I think that helps.
Does his return and does the form the team have shown since he's come back make you think they will?
Yeah, I was just gonna say he spoke about, which was a good point, about losing against Sunderland away, and then having to look forward and where they are now. So they're going in the right directions. The performances are improved, and the results. And I think that's all you can ask for, really. Unlucky tonight. Is a silly moment in the game, when you need calm heads, but they're going in the right direction. Like I said, it's 2 points and 2 more games there.
Maximum 4 points needed from the final 2 fixtures. Realities, they might not need anything, depending on what West Ham do, starting at Newcastle on Sunday afternoon. Chelsea is in 8 days' time. That is going to be, that could be a bear pit, Jamie, couldn't it, at Stamford Bridge?
I'm commentating on it. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good game. Am I allowed to give that away, am I?
Well, I'll be presenting it as well. Let's give it all away. We're there for a reason, because we think it's going to be a really good night.
No, listen. I think Chelsea-Tottenham games, since I've been working at Sky, are probably one of the fixtures that it just feels like there's always something on. There's a little bit of needle there. Obviously, 2 good, huge football clubs. So I'm really looking forward to that game. And it's just a lot riding on that Newcastle game, isn't it? A couple of days beforehand, and that can completely change the sort of outlook of Tottenham going into that game.
I suppose my question, Jermaine, on the final day is: would you be nervous if it does go to the final day about the part that the crowd at Spurs getting nervy could play on them getting a result against Everton?
Of course, you'd be nervous now. Especially, I think that these players would be nervous, and a lot of these players have not been through a situation like this before. It's the first for many of these players. So you'd be nervous now, especially not getting the 3 points tonight. A little bit of breathing space. But if going down to the last game of the season at home, in front of your home fans, of course, normally you'd think we'd rather play at home. You get the job done at home. But I just feel like the way it's gone this season at home, of course you'd be nervous. I think that's only natural. And
you also heard Roberto De Zerbi say he hoped to get a Leeds play like that tonight, as they show the same level of performance on the final day against West Ham. And when he says things about players like Ethan Ampadu,
well, as I said, Sir Alex Ferguson said that about Leeds, didn't he? That you just mentioned there. So we'll see. We thought we didn't have that anymore, didn't we? What? Mind games from managers.
The mind games, yeah. He's started it. He's trying every trick, isn't he? Because he's got to keep Spurs in the Premier League. One other big story that is around this evening that I wanted to touch on with you, Jamie, because last week we were talking about the prospect of who could be manager at Chelsea next season, and you completely discounted the possibility of Xabi Alonso being that guy. It's being reported this evening that Chelsea are exploring a deal with Xabi Alonso to be their next head coach. What do you make of that?
I can understand why they would go for Xabi Alonso. It felt like less than 12 months ago he was the new kid on the block, if you like, in terms of big manager. You're thinking, could he be the next sort of, that playing career, a little bit like Pep. Great playing career, then goes into management. As a great start, doesn't quite work out at Madrid, but I think Madrid made a mistake in getting rid of him. And I think it'd be a great coup for Chelsea. I just thought, maybe me kidding myself, obviously I still got good relations with Xabi, but when players like Stevie or Xabi go into management, I almost step back a little bit. I don't want to be the type of guy who's always like asking questions or trying to find out something. But no, I think he would love to manage Liverpool one day. I'm sure he would. But Chelsea is one of the biggest clubs in European football right now.
Actually, though, Jamie, with your Liverpool hat on, would there be a tinge of disappointment because it had been talked about that perhaps he could be the next one, whether it was now or in the future, to take over from Arne Slot, and this might be a missed opportunity?
It might be, yes. I always felt Xavi would manage Liverpool at some stage. Now, I think once you manage one of Liverpool's rivals, which Chelsea are, I think it makes it a little bit more difficult. I don't see how you go from Chelsea to Liverpool, maybe a little bit down the road, but it just, I think it makes it more difficult, but he has to do what's best for him right now. And I think there will be Liverpool supporters right now looking at that situation thinking, that's the one we want. Because you can't deny it as a Liverpool supporter. I don't even think it's a 50-50 split now on Arne Slot. And I know people outside of the club can't quite get their heads around that. Think, this guy won the league. It looks like he's going to get a Champions League football second season. But the drop-off has been so stark, and there's been no improvement really from day one until the end of the season. In results or performances that you think, is it going to get any better? And my worry with Liverpool and Arne Slot a little bit is, are we going to be in a situation a little bit like Ten Hag, where he had a great first season, didn't win the league, Slot won the league, that's a completely different level. But the second season was really poor. And then you keep the manager on the back of what he did in his first season, and then it carries on poorly. And then you get into sort of October, November, you think we've got to change the manager. So I think that's probably a little bit of a fear with Liverpool supporters, but it looks from the things that we're hearing that Arne Slot's going to be given another opportunity next season. But there will be a feeling, I think, from a lot of Liverpool supporters that Xabi Alonso's there, and if we wanted him, I think he would come to us because of his history with the club. But it looks like the club have made their decision on Slot, and it tells you they've made their decision on Slot is the fact that there's talks going on between Xabi Alonso and Chelsea. If there was an inkling, I think, that Liverpool were interested in him, or he was going to go there and they were going to change the manager, I think he would go to Liverpool.
Liverpool, of course, head to Villa on Friday. And can I give away that we're going to be there?
We're doing that one as well.
We're going to be at Villa Park on Friday. And there are other names in the frame, by the way, that they're being talked about with Chelsea. And Andoni Iraola is one. Cesc Fabregas has been mentioned as well. I think I even heard a mention of Marco Silva. Not yet Jermaine Defoe.
Just waiting.
Just waiting. Would that be the ambition, though, one day?
Yeah, why not? I think when you go into coaching, obviously you do all your badges. Of course, you have to. I think it's no point going into it thinking, I just want to, coach or manage at a level. You have to try and take it as far as you can go. Learn as much as you can along the journey. But start somewhere, of course. Sort of like put the ego to the side a little bit, and just enjoy it and just enjoy the journey.
Yeah, well, we wish you all the very best with that journey. Keep popping in to see us along the way as well, Jermaine. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Jamie, thank you very much as well.